wait a second. The first member I have to sort out personally is Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri, because as you know, Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri is a criminal, and I continue to say he is a criminal, and I'm going to state that in front of him if I see him at the lodge meeting at the end of June we are having in Monte Carlo. I'm going to say it right in his face. You are a criminal. Okay? I'm not scared about what Giorgio Ugo Balestrieri, the director of the Rotary Club in New York, has to say about things, because I'm going to be very honest. Honesty is what we have to bring forward in this game. Because if we want to be truth seekers and we want to have a true truth movement, then we have to bring the truth out about what's happening in the higher level of the pyramid. And there is a lot of things happening which people need to know about, especially in this moment of time. And if the struggle starts to become an internal struggle, and if not only Leo Zagami comes out, but a whole bunch of people start complaining and want to unite against the enemy, well, that's going to be the beginning of a true revolution. Not a revolution of words only, but a true revolution, because a revolution is obviously a peaceful revolution until we manage to maintain it as such. But we're not going to be subject to any new world order under the Pope or under the Zionist Empire. It's not for us of interest. We want to state that America has been founded, obviously, by people who were in the Illuminati, but has certain principles. And one of the main principles in which this nation has been founded on is to distance themselves from the Vatican. The Vatican has itself, as you know, corrupted the Illuminati and has manipulated them with the Jesuits, so they ended up doing the game of the enemy. For me, the American Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, the Bohemian Grove, and all these various people are Satanists, and I'm going to fight them on their own ground. For me, Henry Kissinger is not welcome in Monte Carlo. If he comes in front of me, I'm going to spit in his face.
Yeah, and the only reason that I said these things on my show was basically this reason. I don't understand how this could ever happen, because if this was a group that is still strong, like it had been mentioned in our other shows.
Because they have put me under an enormous amount of pressure, and under an enormous amount of pressure, I managed to gather together, because in moments of distress, true brothers should come in your help. And actually, one of the first people to come in my help was Jean-Pierre Giudicelli de Bressac de la Bachelerie, head of the Priory of Zion and also member of the Monte Carlo Lodge, who he himself was absolutely shocked by the way they had worked against me, the Fethullah Gulen movement and the Jesuits, and had even managed to kidnap my only son. I have my only son in the hands of a bunch of Muslim fanatics working for the Jesuits. Greg, this is not a joke, this is reality. I want my son back. And I'm going to go to Fethullah Gulen in New Jersey personally with my own Green Lion security team to say to this man, you have to give me back my son and my family. You and Thomas Michel are screwing up the world. That's how it works in my books. These people need to be fronted now face to face. So I'm here in the United States to do so. And I'm going to be very honest about all my intentions. I don't have any hidden agenda whatsoever. I'm completely honest. And that's why I'm in the United States. And they let me into the United States. Because I was completely honest with the U.S. State Department when I called them before arriving into the United States. And they themselves said that I was welcome in the United States because I am fighting for the true principle of liberty. Now, liberty is a principle that Americans need to reacquire because they don't have it anymore. You stated it very well in your show today, how is the present situation. If we don't have liberty in the United States, we don't have the basic principle that people like Benjamin Franklin brought around. We are lost. This nation is lost, is living under fear. How is it possible that the United States of America has to live under fear? The United States of America shouldn't fear anybody. But because of the Vatican and living with this whole conspiracy manipulated so well by the Vatican that obviously using the Muslims as their own puppets so they can install terror and things, well, this is not going to work with us. We know exactly who are the Muslims, who are corrupt. And we're going to go after those Muslims. We're not going to go after all the Muslims. We're going to go after the leaders. The leaders like Fethullah Gulen, like Harun Yahya, like the leaders of the Wahhabi, the Saudi Arabian king. These are the people who are kissing the hand of the Pope. And you know that very well. You saw it in pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And
So
the only thing that...
to finally find who is the real enemy. Stop talking about the supposed enemy, but the real enemy is there. And it's very visible to our eyes. They are using the interreligious dialogue for their own means, abusing it, making out of the religious dialogue something completely pointless, which instead should be fundamental for the peace between our nations, between our cultures, and to find finally peace in America. We have to understand, are the Muslims willing to not be in the hands of these people, or they want to continue to be manipulated and do their game? Because if they continue to be manipulated and do their game, there is going to be a new terrorist attack in the U.S., manipulated by you-know-who, and it's going to end up in martial law. Do we really want to go there, Greg?
Well, you know the answer to that, but I can't share a stage with... Here's the way I look at it. It's quite simple.
Yes.
The Vatican is the Illuminati. The Illuminati is the Vatican. Now, if I share a stage with you prior to your statement, I would have been more than happy to, because you left the organization and you were outwardly... Let me finish. You were outwardly talking against the enemy that has infiltrated these organizations. But when you represent yourself as the head of the European Illuminati, that's what I have to share the stage with. And basically, that puts me at odds with you just from the statement. It can't happen. There is something there that doesn't sound right, and it doesn't fit. And I don't know what it is yet, and that's why I decided not to have you as a guest, but I've been gracious enough to allow your call. Because I've been your biggest supporter. Listen, I've been one of your biggest supporters from the beginning. But I will not. I don't understand this. And I think I understand what goes on in Italy and what goes on here better than the average American. And until I can figure it out, or you can put me at peace, which I'm not at yet, at what you're saying, then I agree with everything you're saying. I don't particularly agree with your title, which basically puts you in the same category as the enemy. And how can I justify that as a person who supported you?
Listen, the history
unless you denounce them and say the truth. Go ahead.
Here, but I can tell you that there has been good people that have made possible even for your nation to be created that were Illuminati. For example, Sir Francis Bacon wrote The New Atlantis. On the New Atlantis, Benjamin Franklin and other people based the actual creation of your nation. So we are talking about the fundamentals of America. America is a chosen place in the end of times with a chosen purpose, known only to the initiated few. Well, it's about time that those initiated few start talking the truth. Because, if on this side of the Atlantic they don't want to talk the truth, somebody has to come to tell them the truth. And, I know what is the initiated purpose of America. America has this destiny to fulfill as the New Jerusalem is the place where we can actually fight the Vatican better than any other place in the world. Our leaders in this moment, as you said, are kissing the rings of the cardinals, of the bishop, like George W. Bush submitting to the Pope. This doesn't have to happen any longer. America has to realize that they have to be free from the Vatican. It's the best choice they could do, ever, to get rid of the Vatican, because the Vatican is something that is destined to go out of business. Nobody's following the Catholic Church any longer in Italy. And at the same time, I can tell you that in the hierarchy of the Illuminati, there is a lot of dislike for a church in the hands of pedophilia, gays, perverts, arms dealers, people who are dealing with... we are going to be very clear who are the members from now on of the Monte Carlo Lodge. We're going to make it public. We're going to expel immediately all the Satanists who have any connection with Satanism, like, for example, Roberto Negrini or anybody from the OTO, various people connected to Aleister Crowley, will be expelled. That is the way to